another early morning for me. It takes me a while after all these holidays to get back into my routine, and I just love, the holidays. And I know it gets stressful, but we all just get so lazy, and then bam, find your routine again. So I do like getting up early because it helps me to stay on top of my game, which is super important for me. But yeah, it's gonna take me a couple more weeks to get into that. Right now I'm on my way to Denise's house. Grayson is meeting his teacher today. It's crazy. So, it's like the new year, new you, new me, right? You guys know that that's not how I handle things. Still no New Year's resolutions, whatever. What I need to remind me of is that I get so caught up and I get so busy with annoying things that I need to do. And instead of letting that take over my brain and completely stress myself out, I need to remember to just do one thing at a time. And if I have a lot of stuff on my brain that's driving me crazy, then I need to make sure I move that out of my brain. And I do that by writing things down. And it almost really seems like, okay, so when I write it down, it's like, okay, my brain's like, okay, she wrote it down. I don't have to keep reminding her of it. That does help me to not get as overwhelmed. And then I just need to do one thing at a time. One thing at a time. One day at a time. That's what works for me most of the time. It's also very important for me is the way I set up my day. When I wake up, the first thing in the morning I do is pray and worship. Just get my heart right. And that helps me to get through the day, and just reminding myself every morning that God is in control. And I put on that full armor, which sometimes I have to do a couple of times a day because, things happen, and then I just have to do everything to keep my heart guarded. That's a hard word. Why is that hard for me? Shouldn't be a hard word. Guarded. There. The last couple of days I've been dealing with this fibro flare-up. So I have to take a lot of breaks all day. This fibro thing is still, I am battling with that. I think it's because no doctor can tell me what's causing it, right? And that drives me crazy. A lot of times I will say, it's not a thing. It's just not a thing. And that doesn't mean that my pain is any less. And I know there's meds that I could be taking, but I refuse to take those meds because I was addicted to, all kinds of pills before, and I'm not going back there. It's the worst. And I know that the medicine they could give me for the fibro would probably, it wouldn't just be probably, it would put me in a bad place. So I refuse. And it's been a challenge. It has been a challenge, but a challenge is accepted, and I'm gonna beat this thing, and I am coming against it. And like I said, I still move around a lot more than some of my friends that have fibro, and they just lay because they feel like they cannot move what I found out is that it hurts if I lay and it hurts if I move. So it's just always constant pain. But the more I move around, the less the pain gets. And I just have to push myself through it. But I also do take a lot of breaks. Like, instead of me now cleaning the house for like 2-3 hours straight, I'll clean it for an hour. I take like a 30-minute break. And I clean for an hour and I take a 30-minute break. Which is good because when I take breaks, I can check in here. So today, while I'm taking breaks, I am getting some studying done. What has been a pretty huge question for me, and I had to do some research on it though to make sure I get it right before I share this. So I was thinking about, when did time start, right? And not like, like 5 billion years ago or whatever, but the time that we keep, the calendar that we keep, right? All of us worldwide. And that is exactly with Jesus' birth. That's when we started keeping time. Some scholars are saying that we're off by a few years, but still it doesn't matter if we're off by a few years or not. But the big deal to me is how that's when it started, right? With Jesus. That's when everything changed and everything became different. And because there was a new covenant, a New Testament, it was a new contract, right? So that's when it started with that. And that's just so mind-blowing to me that we are all, everybody here on earth, goes by that time. Like, so cool. It's just mind-blowing to me. It doesn't matter what denomination you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter. Time doesn't care about race or size or poor or rich. We're all on the same time. And we're going to call it Jesus time. I love that. That's so good. Yes. Oh, and this is also so good. Like, okay, not everybody celebrates Christmas, right? We know this. But there's a lot of people that celebrate Christmas and Easter and those wonderful holidays, right? And of course, there's some of my, people that I know. And of course, I'm not going to name any of them. That would be so rude because I don't do that. But, so they're all like, oh, Connie is now a Jesus believer. Connie is now a Jesus follower, whatever. That's right. They're like so arguing everything the Bible tells us, but they're all quick to celebrate Jesus' birthday, right? I don't care what you say you're celebrating. If you say, oh, I'm celebrating the holiday, what is that holiday you're celebrating? Why is that holiday here? Deep down inside, they know why they celebrate. Like, I'm thinking deep down inside, we all know what the truth is. Because why? Because God puts that in our heart. And our life will change the day we accept that truth.